any chance have you worked on database? Like, are you aware of like basic database queries and how to do DB
Yeah,
testing?
yeah, I know.
Okay, so we'll start with API. Okay, so can you tell me like what are core components of a HTTP request and
It's
what exactly HTTP request contains?
mainly we use 4 methods. There is a delete is also there, post, get is also there, patch is there, put. These all are the different methods I have used. Request payload body it contains. So where what data we are expecting, that it will be mentioned in the request body. Based on
Okay, so
that,
method is one, the request is one, and then further components?
HTTP URL and endpoints, so main URL and endpoints it contains. So based on the requirement, the query parameter, that things, and if any test data are required, that will be mentioned. So the test data sometimes it will be used in the form of environment variables also. Sometimes if that is required for many request, in that case also. These all are the different things.
Okay. So you just said query parameters. So what are exactly query parameters? And also, can you tell me what are path parameters? And what sort of symbols are? Have you worked on Postman?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are query parameters? What are path parameters? How you differentiate between both of them? And what symbols are used in a URL in order to differentiate between query and path parameters?
Yeah, query parameters are mentioned. It is a starts with the question mark, and it will be in the form of key and value pair. That is the syntax of a query parameter. Parameter is just a parameter, so we can directly assign we can pass a values with the help of parameter, or else we can create with the help of environment variable. There with the help of that also we can pass in the URL.
So what symbol is used for? So what, as you said, like for query parameters we use question mark. So for path parameters, what is used?
It's like a.
Any guess? So what is difference between both of them? Can you tell me what is difference between both of them? What purpose is served?
One example I will give, like a user which is already created and stored in the database. So if I am fetching data from that database, that user will be created with a particular ID. So if I am fetching that particular ID, that ID can be a parameter to access that particular data. So that ID will be considered as a parameter. Both are in the URL itself. Query parameter is like a key, it will be in the form of key and value pair. That is also, it's like a end point for that URLs.
Okay,
if you are
so it's just I'll simplify it for you more. So consider when you use query method, like the types of records are retrieved, whether it requires a specific records or set of records. And when you use path parameters, whether it retrieves a specific record or like a set of records.
For example, I give like a user data if I want to access. So if I am passing that ID as a path parameter, the data exists in that particular user, that all records I can access, and the query parameter will be in this, so set of data we can access.
Okay. So next thing, can you tell me like what are different ways to authenticate an API?
And there are basic auth is there, bearer token, basic auth, these all things are there. As in our project we are using bearer token.
Okay, so I'll give you one scenario. Okay.
Yeah.
So imagine you are testing a API which is interacting with database to retrieve or manipulate the data. Okay. So you want to design test scenarios to ensure that there is data consistency between API responses and underlying database state. So what sort of scenarios you will consider in this particular scenario?
It actually, this everything is depends on the API only. So if I'm requesting for something, if I'm using get method, so how the developer is developed, what field, because there can be thousands of fields in the database is stored. But if the developer has developed to display only few records from that database, it depends on that. So based on that, I will get information first what data it is we are displaying in the response body. So that
So
I
this is
will
one
verify.
scenario.
Yeah,
This is one scenario, test
verify
scenario.
the,
Can you
yeah.
name? Yeah, can you name few more?
And status code and status I will check status it should be, and I will check the speed means performance thing, how much time it is taking to give the response.
And if you name, like, can you try few more scenarios?
A few more scenarios there we can check for empty field, that all things.
And main scenario you're missing. So you talked about get, but there is one more scenario. Like, can you emphasize on that? Like, can you try?
And the URL.
So if you create something, whether it is being populated in DB, that is the main scenario, right?
Yeah, correct.
If you, yeah. So that one I
Yeah,
was trying
whether
to
it is
help you.
populating in the database or not. Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me, like, how will you test a post call manually? If you want to test a post call, how will you test it? What sort of scenarios you will consider while testing a post call?
Post call, like whether I will check whether it is creating or not. Means first main thing is a status code or status, and the performance thing, and the data. What data we are passing, that whether that is populating in the response body or not, because if we wants to store post means we are creating the request there, so I will check whether what data we are like passing in the request, that data is correctly appearing in the response body or not, whether, and I will check whether it is populating in the database or not. And a few things like a semantic related things, like whatever attribute we are passing in the JSON file, that things I will verify. It is based on the requirement. If it is application form and all, if I am creating, so there can be optional fields and mandatory fields also. So I will optional fields I will try to put it as a empty, whether I will check whether it will be able to create, I will be able to create or not. And I will verify for a mandatory field whether if there is a mandatory field is are empty, then it should show an error, or it's based on the requirement actually. If mandatory fields are like minimum maximum values, and if that field is of text field, if I enter the numbers, what should happen, it's based on the requirement I will verify.
Yes. So when is the case when you get 500 error, and what exactly is 500 error signifies?
It's a server side error if a server is not.
When so what are the possible scenarios when you will get 500 error?
When a server is under maintenance, or when server is not providing the data which is stored, or if there is any like, because sometimes there is a one database is connected to other from with another client, if we are getting that data, if that client is not supporting to access, in that case we get, means it's server side issues when server does not cope to provide the data. So in that it is, if it is not connecting, in that case.
Okay. And what is 403?
It's a forbidden error.
Okay. And what is difference between 200 and 204?
200 is okay, like created we can say. 204 is content, no content, when the content is not available.
Okay. Just a minute. So can you tell me, like, so there are different series, right? 1x series, 2x series, 3x series, 4x series, and 500 series.
Yeah.
So what exactly they signify? What sort of status code they signify? Can you tell me for all five?
It's a like it's a specific type of issues, like If it is a 200, it's a created or successful, that things it specifies. And if it is a 400, it's related to client side issues. And if it is 500 series, it's server side issues.
And what about 1x and 3x series?
I never came across actually.
Okay, okay, no worries. So, are you aware of like mocking APIs, mocking a particular API? Have you ever come across like where you have to mock a API? Can you elaborate? Like what was the need to mock that particular API? What was the scenario?
Because we are using few content from different application. We have different projects from the same client. So few contents means few sections we are using from different applications. So that section is based on the other application. So they have created that API. But in our application, we are using few sections of that application. In that case, we have to mock that API, how it works in our application when we get that service when we are using in our application. Because there is a map that things and few sections are there that we are using in our application, that is which is developed by another application. So
okay. Okay. Next thing. So can you tell me like what is the difference between like put, post and patch, and like why exactly we use all three of them? What purposes serve?
Post is used to create the request. So put is used to update the entire data, like entire request body we can update with the help of put. Patch if you wants to update any specific properties or like data, then we can change, modify with it.
Like, can you tell me like can you use get request instead of put to create a resource?
No, get is to get the resource which is stored in the database, but put is to create in the database.
Okay. So you said like
Difference is that.
put is to change a particular information. Okay. But consider a scenario wherein like that information is not at all present and you are using put call instead of post. In that case, what will happen?
Because if that API is only not created, then it throw an error, like 400 error it shows.
Okay. we'll move to we'll move to DB part now. Okay. I'll post one table. Just a minute. You can share your screen. Yeah. Okay, consider this table. So you have to write a query wherein you have to retrieve employee names whose name is starting with SA.
Sorry, 1 minute.
Right, I'll write in the chat retrieve empty name starting with SA. Okay, I posted in chat.
Starting with yes.
This is a table. Let me know once you're done.
So retrieve
You can just
employee
see
name
it.
starting with SA. Employee name only you want, right? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can post it in chat. Yeah. Now I'll just update that table. Okay. Now I want to avoid duplicate records. Okay. On the basis of employee name. So I want to retrieve only unique records. So can you write query for that?
Unique records. Any specific field uniqueness you want?
You can use employee name for the filtering. I'll post it, okay? Unique employee name. Okay. Now next query. Yeah, write query for this.
Yeah. Salaries between 50,000 and 10,000.
Yeah.
Employee name only, right?
Yeah,
Salary it should
you
be.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can consider all the employees, not specific to any employee. All the employees of the table. Okay.
All
Okay.
the records.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Now, see, I am testing this particular DB, and for now, like there are only 5 records, okay. But I want to like consider like millions of records, and I want to test for null value, whether any null value is present or not. So, what query will you write in order to check for null values? You just have to check whether any column is containing null value or not. So consider, wait, in this particular column, in this particular table, consider employee position is the column, and there are like millions of records, and I want to check whether this particular column has any null value or not. So what query will write?
Employee position. Okay.
Yeah, employee position. There are like 500 million records, like 1 million records, and I just want to check whether any of the record is having null value in this particular column.
So what you would like to display? Like all whole table do I display or only employee position?
Whole table, whatever is like, just I just want to see what you're writing for the null value check. Whatever you want to prefer, you can prefer. Just a minute. Okay. Can you write one more query to retrieve second max salary?
Second max.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Only salary record do I display?
No, retrieve all the records from the table. Like just all the fields should be retrieved in that particular record who is having like second max salary. So employee name, position, everything should be retrieved.
Maximum salary, right?
Yeah, second maximum. Now, can you write one more, like one last query, where I have to retrieve two minimum salaries, the two least salaries I have to retrieve. Can you try that?
Lesser salaries. I mean,
Yeah, two
who
lessers.
has
Yeah,
less
two low.
salary?
Yeah, two lowest salaries I want to, two minimum salaries I want to retrieve.
Okay.
So here, yeah. So 50,000 and 75,000 is the lowest one, right? So I want to retrieve these two. What query will write? Two minimum salaries.
Uh,
You have to use subquery. We're just helping you. You
Subquery.
can
Okay.
try. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Um, I edit update in notepad and then shall I paste it?
Yeah, it's fine. Just share your screen while you do it in Notepad.
Yeah, I have already shared the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah, no, I thought you were just sharing one particular. I thought like you're not sharing entire screen. Yeah, that's right. You can type in here. Uh, Next thing I would like to ask, like, what is like foreign key and how it is different from primary key? Can you tell me?
Foreign key is used to refer to the another table of primary key.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so where the foreign key column values can be duplicate and even null. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is just used to refer to the primary key of the other table.
And what is primary key?
Primary key is which is used for getting reference by another table, and even if a primary key is applied to the particular column, that column should be unique and it should not be null.
Is it
So
possible to
it
have
is used to
duplicate?
apply the constraint. No, no, it
Can
by
you have
default it
duplicate in
should be
this?
a unique.
Okay. So key can be, so values can be duplicate or not in this case?
That prime for which column we have applied, that column values must be unique, and it should
Okay.
not be null. Not
Okay.
null.
So are you aware like what is default ordering in SQL? Whether it's ascending or descending?
Default is ascending.
Okay. And what if I want to do descending then? What keyword is used?
DESE.
Okay. Okay. So now we'll move to the manual part. Okay. So can you tell me how frequent was your release cycle in your current or last project?
Every sprint before 1 day or 2 days. Actually, it's not actually a specific fixed date based on the number of functionalities we are deploying, based on the number of tasks which we have created that completed. Based on that, we decide in the meeting itself. Like
So were you
every sprint,
performing
at
any?
least 1 or 2 releases we take in the prod environment, I am saying. But
Okay.
in QA and all, after finishing task, every feature developed, they push code for testing purpose.
So how many environments you were working? Like what sort different environments you were having? Can you
um,
name?
if I include dev environment,
Yeah, all of them.
dev environment, QA,
Mm. Mm.
and
And where did you did the
staging,
SIT testing?
sorry,
SIT testing. Where you did your SIT testing?
SIT we do in staging and pre-prod also there. There two environments we are using, but database is
Okay.
connected to pre-prod only.
Okay. And who was performing UAT testing? Whether client was testing or you were testing? Which stakeholders were performing UAT?
Means
Like
UAT they are also doing, but I should also make sure that everything is fine once. So I am also doing, and a
so, what
few
task you were
data.
carrying out in this while doing UAT? What all things you were considering? What sort of testing you were doing for any functionality or any sprint which is going in prod? What sort of activities you were doing as a part of UAT?
Few things we cannot do there because that UAT prod environment is already connected to the database, which is already running now since 1 and 2 years. We cannot create users and all that things we cannot do, but UI related things and whether which data users already created, that users data is already displaying or not, that we are able to fetch that things or not, only that things we can do. But users related data they cannot, client is not cannot provide, so that those related things they only doing.
And how you were doing test data management? Like how you were doing test data management while testing?
uh, in in what perspective you are, manual perspective you are asking, or
A manual perspective, how you would like before you start testing, you would be managing data for testing and everything. How were you doing that?
everything that things everything we are maintaining in the test cases only. So what data
Okay.
we are required for testing purpose, that everything. So actually in our application, like we have a separate accounts, and one account we have for testing purpose only we have kept in all the environments, and sometimes